Welcome back to the Early Edge. Look, the WNBA continues to deliver on and off the court, from rising franchises to intensity that is boiling over. And with that, we welcome in Calvin Wetzel, our guy from Sportsline, our WNBA capper, joining the show. So let's just talk about some things that everybody is talking about right now, Calvin. There was a legit scuffle in that Sun versus Fever game. Multiple players involved, ejections handing out. Beyond the drama, does this reflect kind of a broader issue with officiating and player safety in the league right now?
Yeah, I think it does. You know, the league is obviously skyrocketing, and you heard Steph White, the Fever coach, say it in the press conference. Everyone is getting better, but the refs. And look at the league, where the league is now compared to maybe 5 years ago. It's way higher profile, way more national TV games, more eyes, more money. And with that, everyone has to get better. Players, coaches, analysts like us. And that includes the officiating. And so far, it seems like that hasn't been the case. You know, the league is basically in a place where the NBA was in the Magic Bird era, where finals used to be on tape delay, right? And then it skyrocketed and got way higher profile. And now the WNBA is doing that as well and entering the mainstream. So the officiating has to grow with it. And I think that's the next step for the league to figure out.
Yeah, you miss some of those calls, and then it kind of gets increasingly more violent as it goes on. Technical fouls and flagrant calls are up this season league-wide. But Calvin, let's shift now to a team that is quietly climbing in the standings here, the Atlanta Dream. They're now 7-3 in their last 10, sitting in second in the East. What is driving this Dream turnaround, and is it sustainable moving forward?
I think it is. You know, they brought in head coach Carl Smesko over the offseason, who was a longtime college coach, the mad scientist, some people call him, very Maury ball, analytical, threes and layups, and he's brought that style to the WNBA. And on defense as well. They take away the three ball on defense, so it goes on both sides of the ball. It's been, pun intended, a dream scenario for some of the wings on this team. When you look at Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, what it's done for them. Ryan leads the league in threes. Alicia Gray leads the league in win shares right now. Both of them have been playing phenomenal basketball. Alicia Gray is even a sneaky MVP candidate, or at a very minimum WNBA first team. And on defense, they've absolutely been getting it done as well. So this is a team that I think can compete all season and really make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you talk about this deep. First of all, I love puns on this show, but they've been holding their opponents to just 80 points in 6 of their last 7 games. And you brought up Alicia Gray, but her and Ryan Howard have really formed one of the league's most versatile backcourts. So it's been really exciting to watch that unfold. But let's hit the board for tonight's games. We've got 3 games. Let's start with Dallas and Connecticut. What do you think?
I'm taking Dallas here, -4, -4.5. They still are in last place in the standings at 2-11. But in terms of net rating, the Connecticut Sun, their opponent, are the far worse team. With Paige Beckers in the lineup, remember she missed a few games due to that concussion. The Wings have actually been closer to a mediocre team than a terrible team, even though they're in last place. They're second in offensive rebound rate, and the Sun are last in defensive rebound rate. So it's a really tough matchup for Connecticut as well. The Wings won the previous matchup this year by over 20 points and really crashed the glass. And I look for that again tonight. So I think the Wings, even as a last place team, still have to take them as favorites here at -4.
Okay, I like that. Let's talk about the Dream, the team that you were just talking about, and how well that they're doing. They're hosting the Mystics tonight. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, well, we talked up the Dream for a reason. I love them, and I'm taking them on the spread. It's come up from -7 to around -8.5 now. I still think you can take that. Talked about how much they've outperformed their expectations. They're 9-3 against the spread, best in the league. They're 4-0 as home favorites, which they are again tonight against the Mystics, covering those by an average of 9 points per game. 5 days ago, they beat this Mystics team by 33. I expect the Mystics to be a little bit more locked in than that, maybe, but we're getting a single-digit spread in Atlanta. This would make more sense to me maybe on a neutral court, but in Atlanta with the home court, I do think this should be in the low double digits. So the fact that we're getting 8.5, I still like it with Atlanta here.
Yeah, well, you hope they lock in a little bit more, but Washington 2-12 on the season and rank last in offensive efficiency. So they got to figure something out like that, laying the 7 with the Dream. Last game on the slate here, Calvin. Storm taking on the Aces, who aren't looking like the same dominant team from last year. What do you like here?
Well, Asia Wilson is questionable in this one for the Aces, so I'm going to stay away from a side for now, and I'm going to take the under 161.5 right now. It's been moving down from 163.5, but I still like this whether Asia Wilson plays or not. Her impact is incredible on both sides. The leading scorer in the league last year, but also a two-time defensive player of the year. So whether she's in or out, it's going to hurt the offense and help the defense or vice versa. I think this line being in the 160s is a little bit too high. Biggest thing for me is the Storm defense has just been playing incredible as of late. The first place Lynx are the only team to get to 80 on the Storm in the month of June. Neither of those two Aces games where the Storm played the Aces earlier this year were very fast. One of them did go over because the Storm shot 50% from three, but I don't expect that again. The second matchup went way under, and I expect this one to look more like the second one. So I'm taking the under again. I think it should be in the high 150s.
Okay, one last question for you, Calvin. You were on Primetime Pregame last night. You took the points with the Valkyries, the Bay Area new franchise team, against Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and they won outright. They won by 11, overcame a 13-point deficit. What has been so impressive to you about this Valkyries team?
It's been their defense. Natalie Nakasi, first-year head coach, has been incredible at scouting and figuring out how to take away other teams' strengths and give up what they want to give up. And you saw it last night with Caitlin Clark. They only gave her 11 points. They were all over her. And in the press conference afterwards, Natalie said, we know she doesn't like physicality. Going back to what we talked about at the top, if you can be a little bit physical with Caitlin Clark, maybe it leads to some of those scuffles. We didn't get one in that game, but you're also going to maybe be able to hold her in check. And that's what they did. And every game, whether it's Caitlin Clark or any other opponent, their game plans have been impeccable and their defense has been absolutely locked in, and I've been very impressed with that from this team.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark doesn't like that, but she's got some enforcers now on her team that will follow up if needed. Calvin Wetzel, I appreciate you. As always, good luck with those plays. And don't just watch, guys. Join the conversation. The Sportsline Discord is live 24/7 with picks, props, and sharp debate from our cappers in the community. If you want more action between the picks, then just jump into the Sportsline Discord.